Today's inspiration is this beautiful dress, and you are most welcome, my dear fashionistas. If you are new, kindly subscribe to Yvonne Winifred UG. And this is the fabric that we are working with today, so let us just start the video. So I've cut out the top pieces. As you see, I have my back on top and the one below is the front, and today the front is larger than the back piece by 1 inch. That 1 inch is going to be the zipper allowance. It is here 1 inch and it is on fold. Everything is on fold. So on top there, which is the shoulder line, is where we're going to take all the measurements from. So I'm dividing the shoulder to shoulder measurement by 2. I get 7.5, then I add half an inch for the sewing, and then from that 8 inch I go down by half of the armhole measurement, which is 8 inches. And guys, whatever I have here on top, I'm going to mark it also along this chest line, which is 8 inches. So after there, I just connect a line like that. That is going to be the armhole line. So from the top, I take off 1 inch just to slant the shoulder. And guys, I get the midpoint of what is remaining, which is 3.5. And from that 3.5, I'm moving in by half inch to carve out the front armhole. So from the 1 inch, I'm going to the half inch and then to the chest line like this with a curve, and that will be the front armhole. Then for the back armhole, I'm just going to continue that line, that armhole line, from that midpoint that we gotten, and then carve out for the back. So this is the back and the other is the front, but we are marking everything on the back, so we'll be transferring to the front. So for the neckline, I'm working with 3 inches as neck width, then 1 inch for the back neckline, and then I will be using 4 inches for the front neckline. It is also going to be curved. Everything is just the curved neckline. You can work with whatever you feel like. So I carve out simply like that. So guys, remember, from this 1 inch that we slanted for the shoulder, I'm just going to connect it to the neckline like that, and then measure up there about half an inch and connect the 2 lines just for the sewing allowance at the shoulder. So I do that just to be sure that I don't forget that allowance. So guys, for the bust line and at the waistline, I'm going to be dividing the measurements by 4 inches. So the bust measurement divided by 4, I'm working with 36 inches. I get 9 plus 1 inch as the sewing allowance. But at the waistline, we'll be adding a dart. So the waist measurement divided by 4, I get about 8.5 inches plus 1 inch for the dart, and then another 1 inch as the sewing allowance. So I mark it down, then I connect those 2 points. We are not considering the dart at the chest line because the front dart goes, both the front and back dart won't be going up to the chest line. So guys, after there, I divide the nipple to nipple measurement by 2. I get 3.5 plus half an inch as the sewing allowance for that dart. Then I fold it up so that I notch it up, and that will help me when I'm taking in the dart for the front and the back together. So guys, I cut out. Remember, we first cut out the back markings first, and then now I'm transferring the neckline and the hole for the front to cut them out accordingly, just as you see. But if you want, you can put your front on top when you are marking. So guys, the full length of this dress is 40 inches. So I subtract the 16 inches for the top piece. I remain with 24 inches. So the 24 inches, I add 2 inches for the sewing allowance. I get my 26. So the waist measurement I'm working with is 34 inches. 34 divided by 3.14, which is the constant we use when we are getting the half circle pieces, I get 10.8. This 10.8, I'm going to add the full length of the skirt piece, which is 26. I get 36.8. So guys, when folding, I'll be using 36.8, but I will add 1 inch as the zipper allowance for my skirt piece. So I need a piece that is 36.8 on fold. And guys, simply let me just show you how I'm going to fold. Suppose this is my ankara, this is the yardage, and this is the length where the 45 inches is. So I'll take off the 37 inches that we've marked, that we've calculated. Suppose this is the waistline, where the waistline will stop. After getting the 37 inches, I'll fold in like this. So I'll have 37 inches on fold, like twice, and then fold. Let me show you again. I fold like this, 37 inches times 2, and then fold another triangle like this. So that is what I'm going to use to get the waistline and then the full length of the skirt piece. That's how we do the half circle. So this is it after folding. I have 37 inches folded together and then fold into another kind of a triangle on bias like this. So guys, from the top here, remember we got about 10.8, but I'm going to use 11 after dividing the waist measurement by 3.14. I got 10.8, so I'm rounding off to 11, and from the apex on top, I'm taking my tape measure like this as I measure up the 11 inches like this, and going on to form the waistline of this skirt piece like this. So I'm going to cut both front and back together because of the way I folded. So after, I have to cross check whether I have the measurement that gives me the waist measurement plus the zipper allowance, or all the allowances that I'll be working with. So after making sure that that is what I have, I take off the full length, which is the 26 inches guys that we calculated. So this is what I am doing, and after I just cut it out. So when you do take that measurement, as I showed you before, your folding will be easy. You will know the right piece to fold to give you the right measurement of the skirt that you want. So this is what I have. This is the half circle. It's not full circle, it is just half circle. For full circle, you divide the waist measurement by 6.28, not 3.14. So guys, after I just trace out the necklines for both the front and the back to cut out the facings like that. So guys, now we have to cut out the sleeve. So for my sleeve, I have 2 pieces folded into 2 as you see, and full length about 23 inches, but I added about 2 inches because I'll be adding an elastic where the length stops from, and then I'll be gathering it up like that. So from there, I take off the 4 inches like that and draw a line like that, then mark out half of the armhole measurement, which is 8 inches, and the rest will be the allowance. So after that 8 inches marked down, I'm going to draw a diagonal line from this point or the apex onto the length of the or the width of the sleeve that I'm working with, and get the midpoint of this diagonal line, which is 4.5. there, and then from that midpoint I'm going to go up by half an inch to mark out the back armhole. So I'm going to connect from the apex onto the half an inch with a curve, and then a straight line from the half an inch onto the main width or the length. Then for the front armhole, it will be curves. It will be from the apex onto the midpoint, not the half an inch, but the midpoint, guys, with a curve like that. And again from the midpoint onto the full length of the sleeve or the full width of the sleeve like that. And I have to consider the rest for the allowance. So guys, since I'll be using an elastic, I'm just going to consider the entire width of this piece for that wrist area. So after I first cut out the back marking first like this, and then notch out the midpoint there, and then open up my two sleeves like this, and then align them right sides facing each other like this, and then mark out or notch down where my back piece is, the back marking is, where I put B there for both sleeves. Remember there are two sleeves, we are cutting everything together, and then cut out the remaining front marking like this. So each sleeve has a front and a back marking. You have to consider that. So that is my sleeve. So that's how the sleeves came out, like front different from the back. So guys, now we are going to start preparing for sewing. And to sew, I'll begin with my top pieces, that is front and back. I align the facing, right sides facing each other for the front and back, and I will sew by half an inch. And after the facings, guys, I'll fold in. You remember we notched where the dart will be. For both front and back, I will notch and then fold, mark half an inch, and take in the dart for both sides. So the front dart ends about 1 inch below the bust line, and then the back dart goes 1 inch above the bust line. The bust line is always about 10 and a half inches thereabout. You have to measure that. After, I'll sew in the shoulders and then attach the sleeve to have this. So here I've sewn everything I've told you about, and I've attached my sleeve, and the sides are still open. So guys, I've also finished the hemline of the sleeve. As you see, I just double folded and sew with a straight stitch. So guys, now this is my sleeve. I want to show you where the elastic is going to be. So I will first take the full measurement up to the wrist area. From this midpoint of the sleeve, I mark where the wrist area is. That is, it was after marking, it was about 2 inches from the hemline of this sleeve. So I draw a line there, and along that line I get my elastic. Have to cross check and see whether it is enough for the wrist to pass through or the palm to pass through. So guys, this is the elastic. I'll just top stitch on it so that it forms a gathered sleeve like that. And this is how the sleeves came about. So at this point, I took in even the sides by 1 inch that we left as the sewing allowance. And now I just have to prepare my top piece so that I can attach it to the skirt piece. So this is the top piece. At this point, it is all done. I can just iron it, press it very well, and bring the skirt piece so that I attach it, and it will be attached by half an inch. That is right sides facing each other. So guys, this opening of the skirt piece has to align with the opening of the top piece. So I will do that to have this. So we are close to have a finished dress. So guys, I also went ahead and finished the hemline of the dress or the skirt piece so that I can attach my zipper. So this is the zipper I'm going to work with. You know the jacket zippers, it's what you should be using. This is what I have also. It opens up into two like this, and you can attach it back like that. So guys, remember I told you I finished the hemline already. So I'll start sewing from the hemline. I'll fold in the 1 inch zipper allowance we left, then top stitch that zipper onto this piece for both sides up to the top. So I think, as you see, my zipper is really long. I have to cut it at the top there. So before cutting, you have to make sure that metallic piece of the zipper that zips up and down is down or below, and then you leave 1 inch and then cut out the excess and then fold it properly and finish up your zipper like this. So the dress is complete as we speak right now. It came out so beautiful. I love what I see. The sleeves, that's how they look like. Actually, you can even use this dress as a jacket dress. You know, you can rock your beautiful tight dress inside, and this comes out as a jacket on top. So the zipper, as you've seen, it opens up, separating the dress into two, and then you close it back. You can zip to any length that you want, and it is beautiful. I love what I see. And the back was just simple, plain like that, nothing huge. So guys, that is the dress. Thanks so much for watching. Yvonne Winifred UG.